Hi, I'm Hassan, the lecturer here at the Institute of Medical Education, and today we're going to take a look at solutions to Section 3 of ACER's GAMSAT Green Booklet, Practice Test 1, specifically Unit 30, Question 94. And you're probably wondering, why is there more information on on the slide you've provided than the actual stimulus provided by ACER? Well, the reason is because there really is no cheat code to learning the process of meiosis, or mitosis for that matter. You really just have to knuckle down and memorize every single stage process of mitosis, meiosis. So that's going to be interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, whether it's telophase, whether it's going to be stage 1 or stage 2 of meiosis, or you're going to have to understand the cell cycle. What is G phase? What's S phase? What's G0, G1? What is cyclin-dependent kinases? What are these cyclins? What do they do? What is a centromere? What's a chromatid? What's a chromosome? What's chromatin? What's haploid? What's diploid? All of these terms can be confusing because they all sound the same, but the only way to get your head around it is to actually buckle down and study the processes. So what I've decided to do here is I've just included my own summary table of meiosis, process of meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. You should probably develop your own. This is just my summary because this is how I understand it. But try to develop your own so you can make sure that when you sit the GAMSAT, you can recall straight away what metaphase 1 is, or what's the specific, let's say, the key factor, or what's the key mechanism in this process. So if you want to get the top 95, 100 percentile on a GAMSAT, these are the little things you have to do, the 1%ers, to make sure you improve. Now, you're also probably wondering, why did I highlight these specific phases? Well, that's because in the question 94, they're going to represent one of those images shown. You're probably wondering, why isn't there 4? Because one of the processes shown in 94 is actually mitosis. It's not meiosis. But we'll work through it and we'll see if you can get it straight away. So the question's asking, which of the following represents the later stage? So we're trying to find out what's the latest stage of meiosis. That's the first piece of information we need to know. A meiotic division of a diploid cell whose nucleus usually contains 4 chromosomes. Okay, so we're just trying to look for the latest stage. So let's take a look at 1. So 1, what we can see at 1 is, we can see a chromatid. So remember, a chromosome, so we've got a chromosome here, so 2 chromatids with our centromere in the middle. So we've got our chromosome, and these here are our chromatids. So they usually call them sister chromatids because they're combined together. Chromatid. So we can see in the first image, the chromatids are being pulled to the opposite sides of the cell. So if you take a look here at this information, we know therefore that image 1 is going to be anaphase 2 because the sister chromatids are separating and are pulled towards the opposite poles of the cell. So we can say that 1, so A, is going to be anaphase 2. So B, if we take a look at B, you can see that the chromosomes are actually together this time, but they're just lining up at the equator. So they're not actually getting pulled apart. And also, just to make sure we understand what it's showing, those lines between the centromeres, they're spindle fibers. So the spindle fibers will be important when we talk about mitosis in a second. So the spindle fibers are connecting the chromosomes through the centromeres, and it's lining up at the equator. If we take a look here through our processes of meiosis, for schematic 2, the answer for B is going to be metaphase 1 because the pairs of homologous chromosomes, they move to the equator of the cell and it is paired up. So therefore, B is going to be metaphase 1. C, if we take a look, we can see that the chromosomes in this instance are getting pulled apart to the other part of the to the other side of the cell. However, notice how the chromatids are still together. They're not getting pulled apart. So the chromatids are still together, and it's getting pulled to the opposite sides of the cell. So 3, therefore, if we take a look at our list, Again, it's just like what we saw in 1. So remember in anaphase 2, we got the chromatids getting pulled apart to the opposite side of the cell, whereas in this instance, it's the chromosomes getting pulled to the other part of the cell. So it's going to be anaphase 1. So these you should know off by heart by the time the GAMSAT comes around. So please make sure you upskill in meiosis and mitosis, because being able to do it in a flash is going to save you time in the GAMSAT and make you move on to the more challenging questions. So D, so you've probably figured out now D has to be mitosis. And the reason is because you can see that the chromatids, so it started off, so the way it works is it starts off as the chromosome and the spindle fibers pull apart the chromosomes. And what happens is when you pull apart the chromosomes, the chromatids go to the opposite ends of the cell. So this is anaphase, because again, like process in A and C, it's anaphase, but it's anaphase for mitosis. Because the spindle fibers are pulling apart the chromosomes and you're left with the chromatids. So that's mitosis. So going back to what the original question was asking, which of the following represents the later stage in meiotic division? So the later stage in meiotic division is telophase and cytokinesis, but this isn't present in these options. So the next best is anaphase 2. So the answer for 94, therefore, has to be A. So if you're still having difficulty trying to conceptualize mitosis and meiosis, or you have any other general comments or questions, you can post them in the comment section below, or you can contact us directly. We'd love to help. Thanks for your time. Bye now.